If you were bad, you're not going to be poor next life. If you were good, you're not going to be rich. That's not how it works. What is up, Starseeds? I'm Sid, and somebody just asked me about karma, so let's talk about karma real quick. Karma is not if you do good, you're gonna have a really awesome next incarnation. If you were a bad person, you're gonna be a bug next life. No. Karma is unfinished business, unlived out passions, unexpressed emotions, unlearned lessons. That's karma. Okay, and I mean, that is basically the gist of karma that like they teach you in school. When I was in the schooling system and they taught us about like Hinduism and stuff, and they taught us about what Hindus supposedly believe karma is, the incarnation cycle, and what goes around comes around, basically. Yes and no. Like, it is the gist of it, like unlearned lessons. Like, sure, that's karma. But it's also about, you know, if you have unfinished business with a certain person, a certain soul in this life, if you didn't forgive somebody who hurt you in this life, truly and really, not just like put it in the past and move on. That's not forgiving. If you forgive someone, that means you like unconditionally love them. That doesn't mean you still have to talk to them or be friends with them or whatever, but you have to truly forgive them at least. You can't just put stuff in the past. That's not forgiving. That's moving on. But so you have to forgive people who have done you wrong, or else you're going to have another life with them in the future. It might not be next life if you don't want it to be, because we agree to our lives, to our incarnations. We agree to what our body looks like. We agree to who our parents are, who our family is. You know, what plane of existence you're being born into, if you're being born on Earth or you're being born somewhere else, another star system, question mark. But we agree to it all. We agree to our family's financial situation, all of that stuff. So, no, if you were bad, you're not going to be poor next life. If you're good, you're not going to be rich. That's not how it works. You could be a terrible human being and be born a rich, wealthy person in a position of power in the government, and then you could do this pretty much the same exact thing next incarnation. You could do it over and over and over again. How is that allowed to happen? Because they agree to that incarnation, and yes, karma will catch up with them. They will learn their lesson somehow, okay? But they might not have to be poor to learn the lesson of being nice to people. They might learn that lesson by still being in this position of power, and then one of these times they're gonna learn, hey, I'm an asshole, that's not cool. Okay, you could be the most amazing person ever. And I mean, sometimes you might be born into a wealthy family, most of the time it might be a poor family, and you could be poor over and over and over again, or just have a really tough life, or be abused over and over again, and you don't know why. There's some lesson, there's some karmic tie to a person in your family maybe, there's some karmic lesson to the archetype you're living out that you need to learn, but you're agreeing to it possibly over and over again, or whatever the situation is, you agreed to it. So address it. So look into it. Stuff keeps happening to you until you address it. Regardless of if you're in some kind of karmic cycle and the same thing keeps happening, that's kind of besides the point. The fact is that, like, no, you don't have to go from being a bug to a bird to a fish to a cat to a dog to a human. Like, that's not how this works. You can be, this gets into kind of the genetics and energetics behind incarnations, which I have a video on soul genetics. You can't really hop from like a bug to a cat to a fish that easily. There kind of has to be some middle ground. To like an extraterrestrial in this galaxy and then an extraterrestrial in that galaxy. Like, there has to be some middle ground, or else there's going to be some like health issues or birth defects possibly, or something similar to that. But karma is not just what goes around comes around. Yes, it's unlearned lessons, but karma is unsaid emotions, unexpressed feelings, it's unlived out passions, it's unfinished business, okay? And you guys have heard me say this in other videos, probably in the October time frame where we talk about ghosts and stuff, how ghosts have unfinished business. That's what karma is. It's our own personal soul aspects ghosts, basically. It's our unfinished business. So that is what karma is, and we choose our incarnations. And yes, we get recommendations as to what to do next by the Arcturian beings, by Antarian beings when we go to the Stargate, but our soul has the ultimate decision. I don't want to say at the end of the day, but like at the end of the meeting, and it's our higher self perspective making that decision, so usually we make pretty good decisions. But we can't run away from what's coming to us forever. Like, eventually it will happen. Even if we choose an incarnation where, like, yeah, I want to be born in a rich family and all this stuff. Okay, you can choose that. But if it's in your karma, if it's in, like, your highest interest, if you have a lesson you need to learn out and you have to be poor to do it, then you will go bankrupt in that incarnation, and it will happen if it needs to at that time. Or maybe you'll get away with it for another life or two, but it'll come around. You know, it always does. So that's my take on karma. Unlived out passions, unsaid emotions, unexpressed feelings, and unfinished business. Peace out, you guys.